Anyway, well, good to see y'all.
Hey, 167, back at you.
Tell us what it's about again.
Another
You do it.
exciting week.
You do it the best.
106. The other 167 is a podcast geared towards helping you live those other 167 hours of the week. 1 hour a week in church, yeah, we can handle that, but man, how do we make it through and live a godly life the other 167?
There you go.
There you go.
He does a great job with it. I love
He's
it.
been practicing that line.
I have. I've been,
probably
man,
so.
yes.
I mean, in the mirror and everything. Look,
It's amazing.
he finally got to say it.
Yeah, there you go.
Like I said, I'm making
Yeah, that's
investments
There
for
you
the
go.
future.
There you go. So I was reading the Bible with Reese the other night in our Bible time, and we hadn't. So once they got out of school, they started staying up really late, and by the time it was bedtime, I was too tired, and so it'd been 2 or 3 weeks since we had done our Bible time at night. So I go to start reading this, and I said, "Wait a second!" I said, "I know that I had this marked. We've already read this story."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Do you remember?" And I kind of went back and forth, and I'm like, "I know that I didn't move this bookmark or this mark or whatever it was, but I know we've already read the story." And I realized it's Genesis 20, where Abraham tells the Abimelech or Abimelech, whatever it is, that Sarah's his sister. It's the same story as what happened with the Egyptians. I just didn't realize he did it twice.
Yeah.
And so I had to go flip back. I said, "No, I did already read this story. It was just a few chapters ago, and he did it again."
Yeah.
So we go through this whole thing. I get to the end of it, and I told Reese, I said, "So," because she's always, I have to ask her at the end, did you get it?
What'd you pay attention? Yeah. What'd you get out of that?
I said, "So he's already done this once, and then all these things have happened, and then he does the same thing again."
Yeah.
I said, "And just for the record, he's one of the good guys in the Bible, like one of the ultimate good guys of the Bible.
The father of the faith.
Yeah. But he's still," and I'm just sitting there, it's like you want to laugh at it and say, "How could you be such a whatever after, all this is after Isaac's been born." I mean, this is after God's fulfilled that promise that had to sound kind of crazy to him.
Yeah.
And even now you still are, it just, but then you look at your own life and it's like, well, yeah, I'm not any better at it. But,
Well, one of the things I do love about the Bible is other than the main hero of the Bible, every other hero has clay feet.
yeah.
I mean, Jesus, well, he didn't have clay feet because he didn't sin.
Right.
But it paints Abraham as being afraid of confrontation.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. He was fearful.
Yeah.
You had Noah who got drunk after he got off the boat after seeing what he saw.
Yeah.
There's so many of the heroes of the faith that they've got character flaws,
Yeah.
which we all do.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons I love the scriptures and love the you can just see it's real,
Oh, yeah.
especially Genesis through Joshua and Judges. Whew, it's very real.
Yeah.
Those folks can really get involved in some stuff.
And what do you think about this? Because now that you mentioned that, Isaac did the same thing with Rebecca, lied, and then it really blew up when Jacob.
Well, you had
he took it to another
you
level.
had the deceiver of all deceivers.
Yeah.
When,
So that's
when
a
Jacob came
that's
on
a
the
that's
scene.
a family
trait.
secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when Jacob tricks his own father for the birthright. Yeah, it's pretty I think it runs in the genes.
Yeah, it was full blown by then. Yeah. And then his sons did the same thing to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was
Well, I mean, they lied
that's
to
a
him.
family sin.
Yeah, they lied to him that Joseph was
Yeah.
killed. So yeah, I mean, it's easily, and then what they did to each other. I mean, what those 11 did to Joseph, what Joseph or Jacob did to Esau. Yeah, brothers back then. If you got brothers like that, who needs enemies?
Well, I'm not sure I understand that. When Jesus says there's no greater love than loving your brother.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand
Well,
that.
It doesn't say love your
Starts
brother.
in Genesis 3.
Yeah.
To lay down his life for his friends, but Genesis 3 with Cain and Abel. I mean,
It just don't make sense now.
we got twisted real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it continued, and you think, okay, somebody that we call the father of the faith, and probably you stop and think about it, he's probably one of the most admired men in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You got Christianity paying homage, you got Judaism paying homage, and you got Islam paying homage. What is that?
3
I
major
don't know, at
the 3
least a couple
majors.
billion people,
Mhm.
that look up to Abraham as being and yeah, he's got clay feet
Yeah.
just like us.
Yeah, it's funny. We talked about this before with the Old Testament and how many I mean, there's not so many of those in the New Testament, those types of stories. I
Yeah,
mean, you know, there's a
it's
little
more
bit of
personal failures.
yeah,
You got Paul. I mean, I'm sorry, you got Peter that pretty he's pretty much
the
the
king
one
of
that
that,
does
yeah.
all of them, did
Yeah,
all of them. There's a few times that you doubt. The disciples were the ones we picked on
yeah.
then, but they were doubters and you know,
Well, and the doubters are it's so easy, just like it is with Old Testament stories, to say, "You, Nimrod, what are you doing that for?" And you kinda forget your own, but then the disciples, you know, it's easy to look at them and say, "How could you doubt?
yeah,
You
world
were out there with
you're
him."
standing at his feet.
Yeah,
I mean, you're seeing him face to face.
but again, when it becomes your life, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
I was jotting something down, and I actually had to put it in parentheses that this wasn't sermon related, but before you even really started preaching, I was thinking about this, that it's so easy to follow God and to say, "Okay, I'm gonna stick with him no matter what and do all this." And then you can do that right up to the point of where it's things get the hardest maybe,
Mhm.
and then when things get hard enough, you get to a point where it's almost like, "Okay, well, I was counting on God and he didn't help, so now I'm gonna have to do it myself because there's not another." It's so easy to take the reins back
Yeah.
Right.
at the very moment that you need to be giving them up the most. Like, this entire time you've been letting him ride, letting him drive, but now right when you hit heavy traffic and it's stormy weather and it's kinda, the weather's nasty and you really need him driving,
Mhm.
well, now I'm scared and I think I'll drive from here.
Right.
And I think that's a pattern that, plays itself out a lot in the Old Testament too. I mean, a lot of the great stories of the Old Testament looked pretty daggone dark until the next to the last chapter,
Mhm.
and it's so easy to get to that point where it's like, okay, I mean, okay, Abraham, yes, there's the story with Hagar, but they waited a while before he got to that point.
Mhm.
They gave it some time, and then it got to a point where it's like, no, I don't think God's going to do this. Let me help him.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so there's that pattern that happens, I think, in everyday life, that we can, when things are good, we can trust God.
Yeah.
That's easy. When things are awesome, we can really trust Him.
Mhm.
Things get a little tough, we can trust Him. But when things get the worst,
Yep.
now all of a sudden it becomes harder to
We
trust.
make it even more
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah, and that's when
Make
we
you take it in matters in your own hands.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do, with, it becomes personal. I can trust God all day long that he's gonna help you financially, but when have to I'm not sure how I'm
Mm.
gonna make my mortgage payment, now that's tough.
mhm,
Um,
Mm.
but, you know,
true.
I believe that, I'm not af I'm not afraid of someone dying because I know they're going to heaven, but when it becomes me, then I still have to think about that. I really need to really make sure I got myself together. I mean, I know I do, but I'm just saying,
No, no, I get it.
yeah. And I
Well, and
guess
even if
it
it's not you, I mean, I don't know that I'm particularly I've never don't get me wrong, I'd like to stick around here as long as I can. I've never had a terrible fear of dying compared to my fear of something happening to the ones that I care about, my kids, my
yeah,
family.
yeah,
I think when it becomes somebody in your own family or someone that you care about, or it could be yourself
yeah,
too. I mean, I haven't had to face like a life threatening
Mhm.
illness or anything like that to have to confront that. But I mean, I, I can have a lot of faith in him healing and taking care of other people. But when
yeah.
it becomes my kids, then that would
That's
probably be a
and it
different,
makes a difference, I
different
guess
thing.
we're just all at fault, we're all sinners. I'm a sinner, you're a sinner, and,
Yeah.
Even,
Ben is
When it
too,
gets real,
right?
that's the thing. When it
And
gets real,
and
that's
Ben is too a
that's
sinner, right?
right.
Yeah, I just wanna make yeah.
well,
Once in a while.
even his,
I know it takes you off by surprise that you're a sinner, but
Yeah.
just let it sink in for a little bit.
well, even the things that we say to comfort each other in hard times, they work really well when you're comforting other people.
Mhm.
But sometimes God's grace doesn't
It does.
feel sufficient when you're looking at yourself, and sometimes you look at the things you're going through, and they worked just fine when you're encouraging somebody else. But boy, it
Yeah.
feels different when it's you sometimes.
Well, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's the same, but, I was having a conversation with some guys yesterday, and, They were talking about, growing up and how the first jobs they had, how much money they were making on those first jobs, and, this guy was talking about, "Yeah, first job I was making $6,000 a year,"
Mhm.
and I just kind of was like, "Wow," and he said it was a test of faith to tithe with 6,000. And we were talking about, I think it was either we were talking about Elon Musk breaking the trillion mark,
Mhm.
and their response was, "Phew, imagine if you had that much money. How much could you give away? How much could you help people? And boy, wouldn't you love to be able to tithe off of that?" And their comment was, "Well, whether I was making 6,000 or if I had 6 trillion, it's still a test of faith. It
Mhm.
really is." In fact, their argument was it's more. It's a uh, tougher battle when you have more.
I think it
Because
It's a
is.
bigger check.
yeah,
You're right,
and
that's
I
for
think that
sure.
was part of it that, "Oh, I can't," because if you came from nothing and you got something, it might oftentimes be harder
Yeah.
to let go when you got nothing and you don't even know you got nothing. I know
Yeah.
that's terrible
But
English.
yeah,
Mhm.
You might be more prone to give, and I think there's a lesson there that goes along with what you're saying
Yeah.
is, yeah, the tough time that or and this is almost the opposite, the easier, the more you have, that's just that's human nature.
Mhm.
well, it's hard to depend on God when you have everything you need.
Mhm. That's it.
Um, you know, and I think when I say that, I mean, it's hard for people that have money to let go or think that they need help. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. If you don't know you're a sinner, it's hard
Yeah.
to get saved.
Or if you don't know how wretched you are and were and are.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they're good. Well, I imagine everybody thinks they're a
Decent
good
guy.
person. Yeah.
I mean, I say it all the time, and I have to catch myself because I say, "Oh, man, he's a good guy. Oh, man, they're just sweet people. Oh, he's a nice fella," and
Right.
I don't mean it in a way of having to deal with righteousness and God's righteousness. It's just, "Hey, he's a good fella." Yeah, well,
In your eyes, he is.
yeah,
In my eyes, he is. Yeah.
I just throw a caveat on it and say by human standards.
by human standards. There you go, and that's really what you have to
It
do
is.
because
By
that's
your
what
own
we're
ethics.
using.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By human standards, he's a pretty good guy.
Yep,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Welcome back to the other
there you go.
167.
Yeah.
Your podcast for how to live the other 167 hours of your week. The first one we got down pat. Sunday morning, we can get that. Is how to put it into practice.
And I'm so behind on editing. Happy Labor Day. Uh, probably gonna be your kids are gonna be back to school by the time you hear this, probably. But we'll get there sooner or later.
Oh,
I'll get
man.
caught up.
I didn't know
But
we had to do much editing, man. I thought we were right on point, but
yeah,
did it.
it's not the I still gotta you still want to listen through everything and make
Sure.
sure. And there's a lot of things with the audio cleanup now that takes it shouldn't be that hard, but it's just like you do one step, it takes 10 minutes, you go do something else, and then you forget to
Yeah.
come back to it. And
Exactly.
it's not no single step takes all that long, but
That's a lot of stuff.
it's several steps. And
A lot
I'm
of redundant steps.
yeah. Well, and lack of kids are out of school, lack of free time,
Oh, yeah.
lot of lot going on
Tell
right
you what,
now.
man, schedule gets changed. It changes everything.
Yeah.
Especially, for me right now, man, I tell you, it's been hard just getting back from Tennessee and then, Renee not being there. It's changed my whole schedule.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. So I'm one of these guys that hate to say it. I like to schedule and I like to run kind of, I want to be
Organized.
busy, but I like to know, okay, here's what I'm doing. Tuesday, I might
You want to be
say,
organized.
Tuesday, I'm going to do this, or
Mm.
Wednesday is going to be this day.
Yeah.
I like that, but woof, right now,
Well, what's tomorrow?
tomorrow's Wednesday.
So you got that worked out.
Yeah, I got, we're doing lunch bunch tomorrow with the youth. I'm gonna be with them for a little bit.
Okay. And what about Friday?
I'm off.
What do you got to do?
I
So
can't tell
then
you.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're working or
I
not. I
can't
just
tell
wondering.
you. More well, depends on if it
Oh,
rains.
when yeah.
Depends on if it rains. Well, hey, even that's come to a grind because man, you ain't getting no rain. You ain't having to mow much.
No,
That's
I
right.
I tell you.
The hail grass, that stuff that shoots up overnight that the state plants.
Yeah. What is that called?
Hell,
Oh, okay. I didn't know what it
I didn't make that up.
I thought well,
Bahe. L-I?
Yeah, that
Hell
stuff,
yeah.
it can
Might be
withstand anything.
B-E-H-A-L-I.
Yeah.
That stuff sprigs up overnight. You
I
cut it, and next thing you know, you go out, you go get a drink, look out the porch, look out, and the sun sprig back up.
I tell you, last week was hot.
This
What
w th
was it?
so far this week hasn't been too bad, but I think it's supposed to be bad
It's
again
hot.
tomorrow.
Today's actually
Perfect.
I've enjoyed it.
They're great.
I was, we got some snakes around our house. I was putting up some ivy on a fence, and I happened to look down. This is my shoe. I happened to see a white tail maybe about an inch from my foot
Mm,
sideways, kinda moving off. The tail part was white, but it was brown with the hourglass. I knew exactly what that was,
Mhm.
yeah.
and I just froze. I didn't even see it. It was a juvenile, copperhead.
Mm,
Oh,
And so I said, "I ain't gonna mess with that," but I just didn't. I've never seen a poisonous snake in our
yeah,
yard. But I was in pine straw too. I
yeah.
was hiding up there.
That's a
I'm telling you, pine straw. Ooh.
Yeah, they look, you can't tell the difference.
yeah.
I'm just thankful that I was not moving my foot. He just kinda eased real slow. I saw about that much of it. I didn't
Mhm.
see the head, but I knew it was hidden. And I waited till that tail, and it was a white tail, so that's probably less than a 2-year-old, till that white tail moved away.
Mm.
I got out of there.
See, there's something that you did there I don't have the discipline to do. There is no way I would have stood still.
Uh,
I just
Well, I
there's
had my foot planted, and I happened to look,
me and Gabe were
and I was
walking.
just, "Oh, okay."
I'm headed out.
Yeah. No, I don't
Well, I didn't know where. Yeah,
Burn
I
the
didn't know.
yard down.
At first, I didn't know if he was behind me or what, so I just.
Burn the yard down till
I'd
get
have
to the
I'd
But
have
as I saw it start moving away, I was just waiting for it to go.
yeah.
Did you kill him?
No, there was no way I could find him. I didn't have
Oh,
anything on me,
man.
and there was
And he's still in
I
your
didn't have
yard?
a. No, he moved on to the next neighbor's yard, and I said, I kept.
We'll let the neighbor deal with that one. Yeah.
Oh, man. Them
Well,
things
yeah, yeah,
scare
they won't
me.
kill you. Well, they can kill you.
Yeah.
But it's not like it being bit by a water moccasin or cottonmouth or a rattlesnake. They
But the young ones, they don't know when to quit.
I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, I do.
you think
No,
That's
it's
what I've
just
always
the
heard.
young ones don't know how to let go. The adult ones know, all right, that's enough.
I'm gonna let
Where the young ones, they put too much poison in you, they'll just shoot it all
yeah.
out.
Yeah. We had, so communion this week, I thought that I had to almost jump on Gabe. So he's got cracked up during communion somehow or another. Passing the tray back and forth
No,
it always makes me a little nervous. I'm gonna drop it.
yep.
And those cups were full. I mean, they all did not leave any. It was a generous pour, is
Yeah, they want to
how
make
they
sure
was.
you
There
were
was plenty.
hydrated.
Well, Gabe's sitting there as you're doing your speech or your whatever there. He's holding it and he's trying so hard, like almost with two
Not to
hands to
spill
hold it,
it.
not to
Yeah.
spill it. And he gets cracked up and I'm like, buddy, let's calm down, and I'm like, I said, it's the blood of you're holding the
Yeah.
blood of Jesus. Okay. Let's quit laughing at it. It's not, but he just got real cracked up. But, another, communion's, the behind the scenes of what happens at
Oh,
communion's funny
communions are a
sometimes.
great time. I got tickled at the beginning when they were passing out. Oh, it's right when they were passing out the cup. Little sweet little girl on the front row was like, "What do I do with it?" And I think because it was full,
Yeah,
she was like, "What do I do with it?" And her grandma said, "Put it in that hole right there."
yeah,
And she said, "That's what those are for." And you could tell the light just came on. And
yeah,
the way she talked and the way she pointed and did it, it got the better of me.
yeah.
And I was sitting up there trying not to laugh.
Well, that was Gabe too. When he first got it, he was asking what those things were for, and he thought that he meant that's where you're supposed to put it while we wait. And I said, no, don't put it in there now. You wait till you
Right.
finish it, and then you put it in there. But anyway, it's always interesting, interesting time in there when he's doing some of these things. The first time he gets cracked up sometimes, but I didn't know this. I never really knew what the Selah meant. I'm
Oh,
glad you explained that.
yeah,
I
it's
knew it was a musical term, but I didn't know
pause,
what it meant.
stop right there and take it. I think the best way to do it is just take it as, all right, stop and think about what I just said.
Yeah.
It really is.
Is it Selah or Selah?
Say, Selah.
I mean, I've heard both.
Right.
I don't know which one's right.
I've always heard it was as Selah, so go that way.
It's spelled that way.
Mhm.
I don't know what, but a lot of people say Selah.
And I guess it's, you know, you'd have to ask a Hebrew scholar,
I don't know.
what exactly, but it's a Hebrew word for pause, take that in,
Selah.
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 That's if you should, put an A in it and do it at the ocean.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And Renee was talking about that. That's why I think her mother used Selah.
She did.
Okay.
She
Okay.
did.
That's where I'm coming from. I said, I don't really, yeah, it don't bother me one way or the other.
So it was actually brilliant what you did,
Okay. Yeah.
taking Selah and then making it Selah and putting the A in and having a beach house
Yeah.
named that as, "Hey, this is a great place to get away.
Selah.
Stop, pause."
Yeah.
I mean, when you know what it means, alright, that means pause.
Mm.
Stop. Yeah, so great name for a place.
So I've got I wish I could figure out a way to bring this up in a way that wasn't self-focused, I guess, but honestly, it's something from my own life, I guess. But th- the I'm trying to think how I want to say this. Okay. So for the last several years, I've been working really hard, trying really hard to get some, to work some things out. Right. And it ain't working. And I was thinking about, I've been really just kind of self assessing a lot, maybe over the last couple weeks, whatever, it's kind of we talked about on one of the podcasts a little while back, like what of this is my fault? What of this is things that I've missed? What of this is other factors? Trying to break down what are the things that I have some accountability to here that I need to look at? And for some reason, I was thinking about the parable of the talents a little bit because I can't really claim that I don't have the ability to do some of the things that I've tried to do. It's when I look at it's not that he hasn't given me abilities. I know talents is not referring
No,
literally to
right.
talents, but I've been blessed with great people around me. I've been blessed with opportunities. I've been blessed with a lot of the tools that were needed to be able to do more than I have, put it that
Right.
way. So I'm thinking about the parable of the talents. I know that the word is perfect. He didn't leave anything out, but there's another person in the parable of the talents that I would like to hear from. We know what happens with the person who got 3 and he worked and turned it into 3 more. We know what happened to the person who got 5 or whatever that was. We know what happened to the guy who buried his talent.
Who got one and buried.
I want to know what happened to the guy who traded the 5 and lost every one of them. Because that's how I feel sometimes in the way, what's he going to say to me? I tried, didn't work out, but I tried. So when I'm not saying there's a reason I'm sure that he didn't get into that one, but never really thought about what happens to the one who tried and didn't, because whether that's, biblical parable or just life in general, sometimes you're going to deal with that. You did everything that you could do with the situation,
There's
and
gonna be losses.
it just doesn't work out. And it can apply to 100 different things in life and different things. But sometimes you do everything you can do and it doesn't
Yeah.
work out.
Hmm.
So what would Jesus have said to that guy that did or is it something where that's not possible because if God's behind it, then it can't not.
Yeah. And remember, anytime you have a parable, you can't take the parable to be, okay, it's
Oh, that's
always
just
like
my own
this.
mental
Yeah.
exercise.
But I like the idea, I really do, and I think it's also one of again, I think it's, a couple of things I would think of when I'm in this situation. Number 1 is, um, how do you measure success? Joshua 1:9, he says, Be brave and courageous." The reason I know this is what the passage is gonna be Sunday for Father's Day. Be strong and courageous, and basically, you will have success. Well, wait a minute. Does success always include X, Y, and Z? I think God is more interested in, are you being faithful in the matters of each and every day? Granted, for someone that or, "Hey, I might have made a whole bunch of mistakes in the past." Alright, now I believe God looks at, okay, he's looking at how are you today? And are you walking obediently? Are you obeying? And to me, that's more of God saying, "Okay, that's what I want from you." The other's gonna come, and I think that's where the Matthew 6:33, "Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness," comes in. Um, I think ultimately, I think those are the things that I would say, "Okay, this is what I wanna say. Am I being faithful in this?" Not necessarily, you know, did I go out and have 6 talents and turn it into 12? I mean, that's the danger of that parable is,
Right,
okay, we make it into a business scenario
right.
when I believe he's just saying, "Be faithful." I'm not convinced that every time somebody does something that's faithful, that the as the world would see it is, "Oh, man, that's a huge success."
Yeah,
Um, yeah, every missionary that's died, okay, that the world would say that's foolish, but to the kingdom, that's fuel.
yeah,
Uh, and I don't know, eh, that's a tough one because there are some of the things that figure into this, man.
yeah.
But whether it's mistakes made in the past, whether it was just didn't catch the right break at the right time, I mean,
Mhm,
kind of like surfing. If I'm not in the right spot at the right time, I'm not going to ride that wave.
yeah. Well, and I think specifically for mine, it's not only it almost kinda segues into a different spin-off of that in a way because it's I'm not specifically talking about financial success or
Yeah,
business success, or I'm looking at it as just
just life.
life as a whole,
Okay,
okay?
all right,
And I look at, Matthew 6:33 is one that's was on my mind too in that, because when God was, like, number 5 on my list, I didn't wanna admit that, but he was way down there, then it seemed like I kinda got by a little easier in some I could put in half the effort and still get 90% of the result, and probably needed to put a lot more effort into things
right.
and just there's a lot of things I needed to do differently. And then there's the period of time there where I just flushed things in my life for about 6 months and just completely, blew everything up, and things were start starting to head back in the right direction. It was gonna be a long way, but heading back in the right direction. And then since I would say I started really trying to apply Matthew 6:33,
Right.
seek God first, it's like 90% effort gets 10% of the results, or 100% effort gets 10% of the results. It just seems like everything has been so much impossibly harder in everything else in in life since then. It's almost like the more I know it's not the case, but it seems like the more I seek God, the harder everything else seems to get, and it's you just keep seeking and, try to it I don't know, it's, how I guess that's what I'm trying to say is it just seems like the harder I've seek, the harder things have gotten, and it's like it's almost like there's like a God has a you can pick one or the other. You can have righteousness and be miserable in every other way, or you can you can not have a whole lot of righteousness but you can have success in other areas of your life. And I know that's not the case. It's just that it seemed like a one-to-one inverse correlation since then, and I know that it's, I know that in some ways that pursuing God can create challenges and
Mhm.
adversity and persecution,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that has nothing to do with any of the things that
Right,
it's not like any of this stuff is difficult because I'm being persecuted as a Christian or anything like that.
right.
It's just
Well, but your faith can be tested.
right.
Yeah,
It's just been
maybe
a long test.
maybe
I mean, the CFP didn't take this long.
well, I mean, I hate to say it this way because I don't know what God's doing. But it's the question of, are you wanting to grow oak trees or are you wanting to grow squash? If you wanna grow an oak tree, it takes a while. It
Mhm.
takes many years. You wanna grow squash, I can do that in about 2 months,
Yeah.
and doesn't take much. I mean, I don't and I'm not saying that's what this is,
Right.
'cause I'm not gonna speak for God in that
Sure.
regard, but sometimes, yeah, these tests, as you said, sure has been a mighty long test, or, "Man, I sure am ready for some relief." And I think that's where I and that's honestly where I find God sometimes the most is right when you get to the end of God, I gotta have some relief. God, believe me, he knows. He knows, and he knows exactly what he's doing. It's just that, again, do you really believe it? Because that's easy when, "Oh, yeah, all my bills are paid, I got it made, in the sun," versus, "Oof, this has been a long, hard 5, 6, 7 years, and God, what's going on, and when are you gonna do this, and what's happening?" I get
Well,
that.
and I think I said it wrong a minute ago. I said the CFP took longer. Heck, college took longer than this for me, but, um, it's,
Yeah,
it's, or I'm sorry, this is taking longer than college is what I meant
yeah,
to say. But, to some extent, even the things like the lights at the end of the tunnel and even some of the things that you can see that God is doing, it's almost that by I think spiritual endurance is the word. Maybe that would I mean, there comes a point in time where
perseverance is a fun one.
you're still you still have faith. It's not that it's just spiritual exhaustion, maybe to an extent, or maybe it's just life exhaustion or whatever. But it's almost like, yes, I see what you're doing, and it's not going to do anything for 6 months or a year or something down the road. And that sounds all great. And in the concept of it, in the context of eternity, what's 6 months or a year? But
Yeah,
daggone it, I don't
but
have it in me
that's
right now. I'm too tired. Yeah, I just
but
don't.
that's yeah, that's easier said than done,
Yeah,
even though it's true,
yeah.
but it
Where
is
I might have had the endurance 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. You're not gonna run the last mile of that marathon as fast as you did the first one, probably,
no,
and it's almost
unless
like
you're
as
Kenyan.
yeah, yeah, but it's almost like the further you get into the race, the tougher the challenges get. Right at the time you need more strength is when you needed the endurance the most is when you're the most gassed
So
in a way. I don't know. I'm just
no, I think you're right. I mean, anything you wanna add before I add something?
Well, I think and I'm just saying for myself, and I don't know about your situation either. Sometimes it's what I'm focused on that makes, that becomes it. I'm not focused on what God is focused on. And when I focus on what God's focused on, sometimes oh, I get it now, but it's not what I want. But I mean, that's just sometimes
Yeah,
it's my
me.
focus. I'm not focusing on what God is focusing on.
well, I think that was
I'm distracted. I want it to work out this way. I want to do this. I already got a predetermined idea how I want it to work out,
yeah.
and it never does.
Well, I think when Doug preached on Jonah last week,
That was a
that
good
was
sermon.
the way I ended up kinda taking that as in his sermon, he was really talking about why was Jonah not so he cared more about the tree or the bush or the whatever that
Right.
grew up than he did these people, but I was kinda took from that also that no matter what it is that I'm mad about, why am I mad about this and not mad about the things that God cares about? There's things that are important to God, and there's things that are important to me, and they should be aligned, and they aren't they usually are not, or a lot of times are not. So there is that there's that side of it, of focusing on the things that God cares about. The other side of it, though, is that we're still in the world, and even though I may understand that these things aren't important to the world, some of the other people in the world do think that they're fairly
And
important,
it
Yeah.
and it does
and
have influence on you. You know, famous scripture. W- you can gain the whole world
Mhm.
and lose your soul. What have
yeah,
you profit?
yeah,
But we're so in this culture making money, being successful, but in God's culture, it doesn't mean a thing.
yeah,
And it's hard to when you're being day and day after being influenced by that, it's hard to break away from that.
yeah,
I mean, I'm just telling you, for my part, it's like here's a good one, retirement. I'm focused on making sure that Renee has enough is taken care of,
right,
and um, that shouldn't be my real focus. But it could be because God's going to take care of you. I mean, unless the Bible is completely wrong. Yeah, you say he's never going to leave you nor forsake you. He's there with you all the time. He will take care of your needs. I mean, it's just on and on. But I have taken it on myself because I I guess I in tune with the world more or whatever, that I'm supposed to and I am, and to a certain extent, but I can work that way, but can't determine what will be there. Does that make sense to you?
Mhm.
For, her retirement. I mean, I feel comfortable about it, but there was a time when I was more concerned about, um, being financially solvent than I was, spiritually solvent.
Mhm.
And there's a conflict with me all the on that, so much because there's so much news media, commercials. It's always about doing it yourself, you know,
Mhm.
and so, I mean,
Well, I've said that before, that one of the things that I've learned is ironic about it, I guess, and one of the phrases that has become so almost like nails on a chalkboard to me is the term financial independence. That's something
yeah,
that everybody wants and seeks,
everybody
and
wants to cheat. Yeah.
financial advisors are selling that and trying to tell everybody how to achieve financial independence. And I've said to somebody before, there isn't for a Christian, there's no such thing. Your dependence is on Him.
There
It's
you
not on
That's right.
you coming up with your own, and that can be a challenging thing. I mean, the person I said that to was a Christian. They sure didn't like hearing it, but there's
Mhm.
not. I don't believe that there is any such thing. You can have $1 trillion. If God decides to take it, it's gone. There's
Well,
a
I mean, there's
way
a
to
parable
that.
on that about the guy saving up all the money in a
Yeah.
barn. But it's just hard to trust God. It's just hard. It's just our nature is hard to trust God.
Well, and it's not just financial independence. I think it's
It's a lot of
anything.
things.
I think it's anything. I can sit here and pick on financial independence and say there's no such thing, but there's plenty of things that I feel like I'm self-sufficient in or I can
Yeah.
handle on my own, and those are the things that get me in trouble. The
And,
things that, "Oh, yeah, I can handle that without." No, I mean, it's that
sure.
total dependence
You know,
that he's wanting. Financial is just included in that.
and I trust God for, salvation. I trust God where I'm going. But sometimes, like we just said, sometimes when it becomes really personal,
Mhm.
it's hard to trust God. Trust God.
Or we go on autopilot
Yeah.
and we think we're trusting God, but we're just operating under our own
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, I do hear a lot of that. Yes.
I think one of the things too that I would, Romans 5, and I think we've talked about it. It's one of my favorite verses or passages, and Paul writes about this. He says, "And not only this, but we also celebrate in our tribulations, knowing that tribulation brings about perseverance, perseverance, proven character, and proven character, hope." As I said, God's not making squashes. He's making people conform to the image of his Son.
And
And that takes time, and, sometimes that takes some hard roads, and sometimes it takes some roads of, "God, I'm not exactly sure what's going on and why and when and why where are you?" I mean, those are legit questions we're gonna ask.
yeah, and and Paul wrote some good stuff. But if you look at
You think?
but if you look how he lived, it wasn't so pretty. And for him to be able to write that
Mm.
and believe that, maybe
Well,
he
he
meant
he knew about perseverance, and he
yeah.
knew about the troubled times, and he knew about starving and being shipwrecked and stoned and beaten. And, he knew what it meant to trust, and,
So that's my point. I mean, what you were saying is he kinda got it. I'm still struggling with it.
Well,
Um,
and I think that we've talked about that one before too, but Philippians 4:13 so taken is
yeah,
taken so far out of context that you don't have to read the whole Bible to know that. You really only need to read like verse 10, 11, and 12
right,
because everything leading up to I can do all things through Christ is him basically saying I can do this or I can do that, contrasting prosperity with hardship.
right.
I've been hungry, I've been full, I have been prosperous, I have been this. I can do all things. So it's not. There's nothing about Philippians 4:13 that's saying like I
I
can
can
do
do all
anything in the
this
world I
stuff.
want.
It is
It's saying I can
to be content.
endure anything. I
That's
can
it.
endure or be. And I think that's the thing that I've tried to. It's so hard to do, and
it is.
but I've tried. I actually did this the other day. I went through a little exercise. This was so much harder than it should have been. I tried to hit like 10 golf balls into a screen where I couldn't even see where it goes. Okay. Like I couldn't see, it wasn't on a simulator. It was just hitting into a blank screen and just tried to hit 10 shots in a row without reacting to how I hit it.
Right.
Don't get mad
Yeah,
when
just
you hit
sit
it
back.
bad. Don't even get excited when you hit it good. and it took me like seven or 8 attempts to be able to hit 10 in a row without reacting because we're naturally wired to react, right? And that's such
I
a
want to see how far it went.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and even and I was it's not just it's not a golf exercise, it's a life exercise. If you can be godly and maintain that godliness through all things, through prosperity and through hardships, can you have the day that everything falls your way and all the stoplights turn green and everybody's friendly to you, and the day that nothing goes right and everybody cuts you off and you're 10 minutes late everywhere because of all these bad things? Can you be the exact same person in all those times?
Yeah.
The golfer analogy is, can you be 7 over par or 5 under par and nobody be able to tell the difference based on your memory? Anything that's hard. Can you go through the easy times and the hard times in life and maintain the same?
Being steady.
Yeah, because if you could, boy, life sure would be, I mean, be a whole lot easier if you don't get too high and don't get too low. If you could manage to be that same
Well, I think
person
it
through
would
all
be
those things.
a great testimony too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to me, someone that can keep their head when the pressure's on and just stay cool and calm, to me, that's a measure of trust. Someone that doesn't lose their cool when someone cuts them off in traffic.
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
a measure of your walk with the Lord. And so maybe that is man, I like that being steady Eddie. Uh,
But it does go, I think, both I think it's equally important on both sides of that coin. I think, yes, can you have the bad days without being,
mhm,
but also, can you have the good days without letting yourself get too self-inflated, too
right.
independent of God, to whatever? I mean, I think it's because I've felt that roller coaster too. When you have a good day or two, even on a small scale, it's easy to forget that how much you need God.
What if you don't never have a good day? And I've seen people like that.
Yeah. Well, you
People
never
that
have a
can't
good day, or you just have
people
good
that
days
can't
altogether.
people that can't will know they'll never be able to walk.
No.
Mhm.
So they'll be flat on their back, and you know, and that's what I'm admired by older people when they can't do nothing, they're still faithful to the Lord,
Mhm.
and that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that's
that's my
the
goal.
whole gist of it too, going back to the original is, man, it's about being faithful. It's
Yeah,
about being faithful ups and downs. It's about being faithful to the place of, hey man, I know whom I've believed, and he is able to deliver until the day of Christ Jesus, that I can hold on to that and know that no, I don't have to overreact. I don't have to worry. I don't have to fret. Why? Because hey, he's been good to me for 55 years. He ain't gonna stop on
yeah,
55 plus 1. It's not, but at the same time, phew, man, maintaining that level-headedness, that cool and calm. I mean, yeah, Jesus got upset when it was time to get upset, and I think that's the hard part for a lot of people is, "Hey, is this really worth getting upset over?"
Mhm.
And we tend to think, "Oh, yeah, it is."
Yeah.
When, "Okay, is it really?"
Yeah.
Versus for him, it was the temple, that was
Yeah.
legit.
and not just being faithful till you feel good again.
Mhm,
And I'm guilty of it. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm guilty of, not being as strong as I should be, not being as faithful as I should be, but I don't have anything in my mind of what I've done or anything. I just know over my life, I haven't been as faithful as definitely as I wanted to be, and, probably not as much as I should be.
mhm,
I would say now. There are things that I get upset on. I wish I didn't. Uh, I'm still working on some things, but and I do not know if I'll ever cross that line or not.
mm.
But I'm certainly trying.
Well, yeah, I think that's some of the things the Lord's showing me is, okay, just some things don't need to be all uptight, all up worried about.
It
Just
is what it is.
just be cool and calm and
Well,
just
because
be
that's where, you talk about peace, I think that's
That's
one of
where I
the
find
things
most
that
peace.
I
Yes.
mean, it's yeah, I use the golf comparison a lot. I taught a junior clinic this morning, and one of the kids was talking about, we're asking like, "What's your biggest challenge?" And he said, I think he said, "Memory." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I wish I could forget my bad shots. When I have a bad shot, it reminds me so much of me, especially at that age, but it's still the case." And I know a few weeks ago, I tried to play. One of my pretty much my only goal for that day was almost like what I was saying the other day. Can I just maintain the exact same composure? And I did externally. I shot a monstrously big number. I mean, it was like you don't pray for God to give you
Right.
patience because I mean he gave me that opportunity that day, right? Nothing went right all day long.
Yeah.
I white knuckled it through the day without saying anything I shouldn't have said or slamming any clubs, but I sure wanted to a lot. You know what I mean?
I know.
And but the thing about it is, if you can maintain that, if and having some perspective too, I think a little bit like on the golf course, that's really easy. You're hitting a ball with a stick. This is not that big a deal. You know what I mean? Like this is not. I don't care if you do it better than anybody's ever done it or
Right.
worse than anybody's ever done it. It makes no impact on the world. But as silly and arbitrary as around a golf sounds, there's an awful lot of things in life that we get really worked up about that, in the grand scheme of things, ain't that big a deal.
Exactly.
That car that cut you off in traffic ain't that big a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is that you're looking at, there's just so many things that ain't that big a deal.
And they're really temporary. There's things I worried about when I was in high school that
Oh,
why did
yeah.
I do? Why did I waste time like that?
Yeah.
There are things that when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that's one of my
Well,
favorite
that's stupid.
exercises
Yeah.
that I love to do with either any class I'm teaching or any group of folks that I'm talking to, discipling is, all right, I want you to think back to like today is what, June 17th? June 17th, 2024. What were you worried about?
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I'm guarantee you I was worried about something.
Yeah.
And you're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
And I think you might once in a while you might know what you were worried about, but most of the time
Yeah.
no, we get so concerned and so caught up and so anxious over things that really, when you stop and think about it, is that really worth even wasting time on?
Yeah.
No, but it is. I mean, it's so true. The things that I was worried about in my 30s, I don't worry about now, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
And but I can't remember what they were. But I'm just saying things that
I remember most of them,
of mine.
no,
Not
mine.
yours. Yeah.
But I mean, I can still tell you the part number. For a part number, I used to worry that we didn't have enough in stock for a particular customer that was my biggest customer. It was my livelihood, and if we ran out of that part number, 304-1875, we were gonna be in bad shape,
Yeah.
and I can't tell you, and we could never get it. I mean, it was a battle, and I'd go home just stressed because man, we ain't getting this part number, and this
They're gonna
customer's
go
gonna
somewhere
be
else.
yeah, and I'm gonna lose this company, lose that customer, and then, I'm gonna be a failure. I'm gonna end up destitute, and, I don't know what all I'll be doing, but I just worried to death. I remember being out and I played church softball. I remember being out in the outfield just thinking about those 4 numbers,
Mhm.
304-1875, 7 numbers, and just man, and just think about, okay, it ain't nothing but a little orange piece of plastic, but that orange piece of plastic was needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's funny because the customer that was buying them, they ain't even in business no more,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, there's
They really aren't. They were a global phenomenon and not even they got bought out by somebody else.
yeah. Well, and also the more you can I mean, I've had things where, somebody sent a text or something that kinda makes you mad a little bit, or somebody will make a comment that you don't really
Mhm.
like, and there's the natural instinct that you wanna chime back. But one thing I've done lately is I've just said, okay, I know how I should not respond,
Yes.
so until I know how to respond, I'm not going to, because I know they probably want a response back or some answer, but there wasn't really a question in there. There's not really anything I need to add to it, so I'm just gonna sit on it. Well, there's a few texts like that that I've received that I still hadn't responded to, and they were a week
Yeah.
ago, and the world kept spinning. Like I didn't that person doesn't walk away thinking they're right, they're wrong. I didn't win a fight. I didn't
Just
have a
it's
fight. I
not
just
even worth it.
walked away. A lot of times, if you walk away from it, you forget it in a few minutes, and then they never bring it back up either, and just we'll keep spinning. And I was like, "Whew, that sure was easier than fighting. I
Yeah.
should do that more often."
Or,
Same thing with it's the day that the other day I didn't do it particularly well, And by lunchtime, I had to apologize to the kids because I'd been an absolute jerk all day long.
Yep.
And they were, I think I heard Reese or somebody say something to one kid said to the other, don't do that. It's going to make dad mad. And, you could just tell they were about afraid of me that day. And then, boy, okay, well, my day was already going bad. That sure as heck didn't make it any better to realize what that you've affected them with it. So it's like, all you do is make it worse. So and that's just something I'm trying to work on and everything. It's just, can you, and maybe that's part of the God's his little purpose behind this is, okay, if you want to learn how to be level headed, no matter what, I'm going to send you on a ride and you're going to learn how to, because it's hard. Some of these are really, really hard to stay level headed in. And
I think that's the thing too. I think that's what I would kind of just, well, hopefully you're hearing. I know you are, but it's one of, hey, look, man, if God is making something special, it takes a while. You don't just whip up the best cake in 2 minutes. It takes a while to make it. And
I think
if he's making his character in you to where, hey, you do become more peaceful, more level-headed, more, hey, I'm gonna be the same person regardless. And that's what I want my kids to be able to say is, you know what? He just, was cool, calm, and collected. And oftentimes they can't say that, especially when the heat is on or something is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough trait to develop, and I certainly didn't exactly start that process ahead of the curve on that. I was
No, I'm behind big time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very naturally
That's one that's gonna take a really long time to work out.
Yeah, but it is one of those, though, that I kinda say, I think I'm satisfied with where I'm at, God. Can I just stay right here? I mean, I know you're not.
That's enough Christ-like.
Yeah, but I think that's enough patience. I think, let's work on a different trait. Or, you know what? I mean, there are times I know this is not a godly thing to say. I get it. I'm just gonna be honest. There's times that I'm like, that's enough righteousness altogether. Let's keep me right here. I don't want you get to a point probably where you've worked out enough that your muscles are big enough. It's not worth that extra. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's just like, I don't need the growth that bad, do I? Just leave me like this.
Yeah, I'm happy where I'm at.
I can't do it no more. I'm tired. But
Well,
anyway,
I think that's again where perseverance comes, and I think it also comes with, all right, what's the end goal?
yeah,
And can you trust that the end goal, the person that sets the end goal,
yeah,
he's good and knows what he's doing. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's all I got. You
Keep
got anything, Kenny?
on rolling. Nothing, Kenny?
No.
Joshua 1, 1 through 9 is gonna be Father's Day. But we're Labor Days right now.
That's right. This will be Labor Day. I can actually, we
It's
can.
Labor Day?
This is when, don't you remember what he said at the beginning? That by the time he edits this, it'll be Labor Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can do an
Let's see,
excerpt from it though, because I'm going to do a different episode for Father's Day. So I can, if you want to do your Joshua 1
No,
9 thing, I can.
because I got to save up for Sunday, man.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just
This definitely won't be out for Sunday. I can tell you that.
encouragement.
No, it is one of, you see God's purpose.
Yeah,
And God has a purpose for each and every man to be the leader of their home, to help their children. You also, if you're going to be courageous, a courageous father, you gotta hold on to the promise, because that's, God made him a promise. Now he could have said, I don't believe that. No, you got to hold on to the promise. You got to stand on the precepts, because he tells it, let the word of my law be in your mouth and meditate on it. And yeah, you got to depend on his presence too, because he says, I'll be with you.
He must have been a person that didn't have a lot of
I don't
confidence.
know.
I mean, I don't know.
You know, I've wondered, because it does describe it.
He's encouraged 4
Oh,
times.
he's more than that. He's all throughout. And then he gets a visit from the angel of the Lord. But you know what? He was also one that knew when he was a spy, he was one of the ones who said, hey, ain't no problem, let's go get it. So I don't know if I really think it was this. He had seen Moses. And he had seen Moses go up on the mountain. He had seen Moses split the Red Sea. He had seen Moses provide manna. He had seen this man, and now he's dead, and I got to take over for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would need encouragement big time.
to fact follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to follow that?
Yeah.
I've always said, man, if you want to be a good pastor, just follow a bad one.
Oh,
But now Joshua, he's got a. You want to be the leader? All right, here's the one who went before you. And by the way, he's the first one.
Well, it's like a coach that gets hired right after a great coach is retired or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a lot
Who
of
wants to
pressure.
go in
Nobody
under
wants
that?
that kind of pressure.
I
Poor
think you'll do
Hubert.
a good job on that.
Poor Hubert.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where Justin Gainey's going to look good. All right, well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I think you'll do a good job on that.
On which one?
Joshua 1.
Oh, we're going to have a good time.
I think you will.
I just got to, well, I've been studying it for a while, so I'm looking forward to it.
This can be for next time, but why did Israel never did occupy the full land
No.
that was ever promised to them?
No.
It was
Well, I
like,
mean, just go to the book of Judges and you'll find out.
yeah, I mean, David was probably the
Doing
man.
what's right in God's eye. Then they
Oh, yeah.
begin to do what's right in their own eye. And then they go back into slavery or oppression.
Mhm.
I mean, it was that going back to doing things in my own eyes that I thought was right,
I mean, well,
or
all of
following after other
the
gods.
Euphrates River, is that above
Oh,
Syria?
listen, I've got some stats of just how much land it was supposed to be, and they never occupied more than 25% of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah. They, well,
I mean,
they,
it was supposed to go all the way to the Euphrates River. It basically was going to be the entire wherever you put your feet. I
Mhm.
mean, it is huge.
in the Sinai Peninsula, what was
Mhm.
it? Yeah. They didn't need it at that time, but there was for growth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You might not tackle that, but
No, I'm gonna put it in
but
because I think it's interesting.
yeah, and yeah, I don't know why they gave the Sinai Peninsula that because it was theirs to begin with. Yeah, when they
Agreed.
gave it to Egypt, what are y'all doing?
Yep.
Yeah,
No, Israel's never
but
fulfilled its fulfillment of where its land was supposed to be.
well, it
That's for
sounds like a
sure.
lot of Christians too.
That's
What
right.
to say?
Mhm.
The thing with Israel right now is it's not a God fearing nation.
No,
They're just occupying right now. They haven't turned back.
no.
Well, we better stop.
Goodbye.
Bye, y'all.
But
That old house needs an attic vent just to get some of that heat out.
This time of year is an important time of year for that to be working well.
Well, I don't even have one. The coolest I can get it like on the last week or so is maybe I can keep it to 76, 77.
Mhm.
And that makes for a miserable life. So I got to,
where did you like it?
we'll talk about that later.
So yeah, I think he knows.
Hope I don't have to edit that out. That was really funny, but it's probably got to be edited.
Yes, I said so.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'd say.
When you hit stop, I'll say something else.
All right.